Hi, welcome to the Whole Body Detox Show. I'm your host, David DeHaas, where each week we bring you information on how to heal the body naturally. We're located in Boise, Idaho, where we do a 10-day healing retreat and are best known for helping people get their health miracle. If you want to know more about that, go to healingtheincurables.com. That's healingtheincurables.com. Or you can reach out to us on the telephone, 208-378-9911. Enjoy today's show. The information is presented for educational purposes only, is not intended to diagnose or prescribe for any medical or psychological condition, nor to prevent, treat, mitigate, or cure such conditions. This information is only presented herein for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, everyone, David DeHaas here with the Whole Body Detox Show, and it's Q&A time, something new on the show. And this is a great question that just came in. We've been talking a lot in the past episodes about energy medicine and about frequency and how people do remote healing and so forth. So I thought it was a really apropos question, because when I first learned of this, I was kind of like, how does this work? So Jackie is here in the studio with me. Jackie, ask the question that you posed to me.
I don't understand how the on-demand machine heals two frequencies being sent to people.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know what the on-demand is, it's a pulse frequency machine, and we have the ability, there's many different frequencies in the machine, and we test you for which ones that you need to have, and we can apply an apparatus and put it on you in the office. But we can also, have been very successful, is using it for remote healing. And this may be kind of weird for many listening to the show today, but like it was weird for me years ago, and you're posing the question. So we're going to talk about that for a moment because it's new. But in the episode with Dr. Sylvia Bender of the company, she talked about using it for remote healing. So have you ever had a thought about someone, maybe a family member? I've been thinking about, I need to call that person, I need to reach out to that person.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, phone rings.
Yes.
All right. And you go, oh my gosh, I was just thinking of you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And everyone, I'm sure, has had that a moment. How did that happen? Well, it's frequency, it's energy, it's thought. So think about this. So have you ever been thinking about an issue or a problem, and you're thinking about the solution, and all of a sudden you go, bingo, the thought came to you for the solution?
Yes.
Okay. Where did it come from?
I don't know.
Energy. So if you believe in a divine being, maybe that's where it came from, right?
Maybe.
So think about the radio. Years ago, we never had radio frequency. So how do you get a particular radio program? Like those listening today, how did you get this program?
You turn on the radio.
You turn it on and you dial and you tune into that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Do our brains not tune into frequency?
I guess they do.
Yeah, they do, right? So there's been times when you've had awareness, maybe, especially as a mother, I'm sure you've had, oh my gosh, where's my child?
Right.
And there was maybe something going on and you need to check on the child, right?
Oh, yes.
Mamas really tune in to the energy of their children. How did that happen?
It's a God-given gift.
And it's energy. It's just simply energy. We have the ability as human beings to tune in to that energy. It's like my cell phone. I'm sure you have a cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever had it on airplane mode or had it turned off or the battery's dead?
Yes.
Someone sent you voicemail, text, and you turn on the phone, and all of a sudden, what?
Yes.
All these messages start rolling in. Well, where were they at?
In space.
Exactly. And the energy was just waiting for that phone to tune into it. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this, and he's a guy that teaches a lot about meditation and tuning into the divine. And so how do we tune into it, right? We make a focused effort to tune into it. Think about maybe a time when you lost your keys. And you're like, okay, where are my keys, right? Where's the energy of where those keys are? And it's just no difference. It's another way of just tuning into it. You probably had that experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does any of that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does. I think for me, the part I struggle with is it's something that is so new. I mean, you're used to just turning on the radio or whatever, and it comes on, and you just accept that's the way it is. Right. So when you hear something new like this, it's just going to take time to wrap my brain around it.
Right. Well, it was for me too. I remember when I started toying with the on-demand machine. I had my daughter, she was in college, and she hurt her knee. And now we had been working on this as she was growing up. And she says, Dad, I need some help with my knee. I said, great. I got a program on the on-demand. I'm going to send it to you. Be open to receiving it. She says, okay, got it. So she was in college, stayed away on the West Coast, 12-hour drive, and I turned on the on-demand, I ran the frequency, and I sent it to her. And what I just did is the frequency's there with me, and I just take I just imagine the frequency as a rope or a line going out to her. She called me. I don't know, I think I texted her something. She says, oh yeah, I felt that. That was awesome. I feel so much better.
Interesting.
And we're going, what? Wow, that's so cool. How'd that happen? Right? But it's really all these, I mean, there's so many different, we all know frequency. We're all energy. They now have the ability to, using special cameras, see the energy around us. We've all been in rooms where maybe the energy is turned really ugly. Or picking up on that energy. You walk into a room and go, oh my gosh, right? Mm-hmm. This doesn't feel good. Mm-hmm. Conversely, maybe you've walked into a space and like, oh man, this feels good.
Right.
What is that? Why does it feel good?
I guess you're picking up on the energy in the room, or the people, the surroundings.
Yeah, we're just picking up on the energy. And we don't see it. Scientists have been able to actually demonstrate this, and we teach this here on the 10-day cleanse. As you know, you watched that. So remember about the woman dying she was in a hospital dying, mm-hmm. and the scientists decided to put a little mic in the room and put what was happening in her brain. So they put these devices on her, electrodes on her brain to measure energy. Now they'd taken a machine and calibrated it, and they had figured out that a thought, well, not a thought, but they measured the calibration of a 50,000 kilowatt radio station could send a signal around the world. I don't know if kilowatt's the right word. Anyway, go with me here.
Okay.
Okay, so a 50,000, I think it's kilowatt radio station can travel signal once around the world. So this gal was dying, and she started praying to God, and she started, thanking Him for everything, and talking about love, forgive those people who, did things against me and so forth. And when she was mentioning the words God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, that machine pegged at 500.
Oh, I think it would have gone farther.
And it was just bouncing, going deep, 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 which was 500 times more than the 50,000 kilowatt radio station going once around the world. So that's how powerful our thoughts are. And they had the ability to measure that. Conversely, they took and measured a guy who was dying of a deadly social disease. And they got a nurse to go in and kind of saddle up to him and lure him on. And then she completely rejected him. And he was pretty much, his brain had deteriorated so much that he was already pretty much a maniac, but he started cussing and swearing and yelling and cursing God, using God's name in vain. And it went negative 500, bouncing against the pole on the negative. So we all have that ability to send a negative energy versus positive energy. And it's been measured. It's been proven. This is scientific. This is not David making this stuff up. So it's just understand that we have such amazing innate ability within us. And when we get a new technology of energy, which the on-demand has been around 26 years, and they actually literally determined how to do that back in the 70s. So it's been around a while, just not in mainstream. But so yeah, that machine, when people have it on, they don't necessarily feel it. But yeah, you can send it. You can put a person's picture. And I know it sounds, to many of us, going to sound woo-woo, and I thought so the first as well. But we've done it so much down here over the years that people respond to it. Now, can you not respond to it? Sure, you can completely block it if you want to. You can turn off the energy. You can turn off the phone, if you will. You can turn off and not dial into it. So, but when we decide as human beings to tune into it, and Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this a lot, and he's having amazing things happen with people tuning into the divine and tuning into. People say, well, that's the divine, David. How's this? Well, this is frequency. Frequency. Whether it's telephone call, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's someone being angry and just, putting out their negative energy versus someone putting out very happy energy. It's just energy.
Okay.
Anyway, great question of the week. If you've got a question that's on your mind and want to have an answer to it or a comment about it, just email support@livingwaterscleanse.com. That's support@livingwaterscleanse.com. I'm David DeHaas on the Whole Body Detox Show, and this is Q&A day, and Miss Jackie has another great question, and Jackie's been on our 10-day healing retreat, so share the question.
So I was remembering watching the beginning of that video where they had molecules of water, I believe it was.
Right.
And they looked sort of like snowflakes. And when people spoke words to the water, it would change the shape of the snowflake. And when you watch the videos, they would be either really good-looking snowflakes or really bad-looking snowflakes based on the words that were spoken to them.
Right. So what she's referring to is Dr. Masaru Emoto, who about, 25, 30 years ago had the idea, what happens if we, pray or put words, pray over water? That was the first one. It was just pray over water. Okay. And so they took some water and he figured out how to quick freeze the water molecules. And he could look at it underneath a microscope and see the structure of the water. And that's what she's saying. It looked like snowflakes. So when they prayed over a very polluted source of water, this particular one was in some place in Japan, they froze the water before they prayed over it. And of course, you saw it was just very ugly structure of the water and actually looked blackish, brownish. Mm-hmm. Then they prayed over the water and they actually cleaned up the water. This group of people prayed over this whole area. The water was dammed up, it was in a reservoir, and they prayed over it and they actually changed the water completely. These people praying over it. And he then froze that water and then put it under a microscope and it looked beautiful. It was white, very pristine, like you said, look at a nice perfect geometric form, versus the other water had no really form, it was just kind of a blob. Yeah. So then he says, okay, well, what if we do words? So they used the word love, and of course it had this amazing geometric shape to it and was white and pure and just pure essence. Remember that? Yeah. And then they did they
used Jesus.
Yeah, they used Jesus, and that looked
hope.
Yeah, hope.
All those positive words.
And they're almost slightly different shapes, but all very pristine looking, great geometrical forms. Then they used the word I hate you. Remember that? Hate.
Yeah. And Satan.
Satan. They played heavy metal music. Remember what that looked like?
Ugly.
Yeah, so it was brown, black, but it was just ugh.
No real form.
Yeah, no real form whatsoever. So there's been lots of these experiments. Some of you may have read or over the years about taking and talking, good to plants.
Yes.
And the plants grow real fast versus playing heavy metal music next to plants. And the plants, die.
They don't do well.
They've done this with rice. They've taken rice and they put it in a bowl and they prayed over it and loved it up and so forth, versus another bowl in another room where they went in there and played, again, maybe heavy metal music or cussed at it or yelled at it and screamed at it. And walk by every day and just ignore it. I mean, some of the states have been ignoring one, loving up another, and the rice turned moldy, uppy, or the plant did whatever they did experiment. So they've done this on different things, different beings, and in some cases they've actually segregated it, where they put it in concrete vaults with lead shields and so forth, and to avoid having any other outside sources. And it's been proven over and over again. And there's videos out there on YouTube that show this, Dr. Masaru Emoto. So we're all energy. So again, our thoughts are really important to have. And I mean, we've all been around. I mean, I'm sure you've been around. People are very happy all the time, and it's always a joy to be around them, right? Yeah.
Another part in the video that was interesting to me was after they showed all of the pictures of the snowflakes, or what looked like snowflakes, they said that your body is 60% water. And so it only makes sense that these same words could have the same kind of effect on your body. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we start out about as babies like 90% water, and as we age, we dehydrate because we don't drink enough water. That's the main reason that happens. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're water. Yeah, our cells, we got to have that water. And we think about it when we add the chemicals, if you will, the potassium, the sodium, and the electrolytes and so forth, and what goes across the cell membranes. The more hydrated we are, the more important it is to help us for healing. Great questions.
Thank you.
And if you've got a question, just email support@livingwaterscleanse.com, and maybe we'll air your answer to your question on the air. All right, next question is, how much time is required for a colonic session? Well, you're on the bed with water running for about 45 to 50 minutes. You're in the room probably a total of about an hour and 15 minutes total. Now, the first time you come in, we really show you a lot of love. We give you a far infrared biomat session and a whole body lymphatic detox, and we give you a tour, we give you a consult, and that's all part of the package when you come in. So you're going to be here the first time for about 2.5 hours. If you want those freebies, if you want all that extra love, as we say, here at Living Waters, and you're going to really enjoy those. The far infrared mat, as you'll watch in the webinar, the 4 Natural Laws of Healing, is a great tool to help with inflammation. It's a great tool to help with detoxification. But more importantly, especially the first time you come in, you're going to get really relaxed. And you're going to just lay into that mat and just feel so wonderful afterwards. So, your first time you come in, take some time off, come in, plan to take care of yourself, treat yourself, and you're going to spend about 2.5 hours. To set that up, just call the office at 208-3789-911. That's 3789-911. Or you can go on the website and you can find more information there at livingwaterscleanse.com. Miracles of the week. We've had some cool things. I had someone come in and they had dark circles under their eyes. So this question, again, there's always a question of, does this help with X? We cannot make any claims, make any guarantees. However, I'm just going to tell you what I've witnessed over the years. We had a gal that came to us with very dark circles under the eyes. That is not only nutritional deficiency, that is a very toxic system. This person had done, I think, a couple of colonoscopies, an MRI, a CT scan, trying to figure out what was wrong, why was she so tired. And she was young. She was like 32 years old, I believe. 2 kids, very tired, dark circles, looked like someone punched her in the eyes. And I didn't need to ask the questions, but of course I asked the questions. I said, well, how often do you go to the bathroom? Well, I go once every 3 to 4 days. Well, that's a toxic system. And this has been going on for about 10 years. So she did 3 colonics just to see if she thought she could tolerate it. Well, she tolerated it great, felt wonderful, felt much better, came back and did our 10-day healing retreat. Went through the 10-day healing retreat, different person. Oh my goodness. We call her Miss Sparkle now. Tremendous change in those 10 days. And the dark circles were gone. Got on the nutritional products, got on the vitamins and minerals, started getting the proper nutrition that now it's able to be absorbed because she's cleaned out the small intestine and colon. So completely different person after that. Hey, I'm David DeHaas at Living Waters, where miracles begin by healing from within. We got to take a little break, and we'll be back to answer more questions on the other end. Stay tuned. You can't treat the body and heal it a piece at a time. You have to treat the whole body naturally. That's why Living Waters Wellness Center 10-day healing retreat is so successful in helping what I call the incurables back to wellness. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
For over a year, I've been dealing with gas pains, stomach pains, and it's been waking me up in the middle of the night, so I never get a full night's rest. And last night, after my first colonics, I slept through the entire night without any stomach pain or any kind of issues.
I suffered from migraine headaches for 12 years, once a month, and since I did the 10-day retreat at Living Waters Wellness Center 8 years ago, I have not even had a migraine. I've not even had a headache.
I had back pain on my left side for about 25 years. After the 10-day healing retreat, the pain is completely gone.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to healingtheincurables.com or call the office at 208-378-9911. That's 208-378-9911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience and may not be right for you. Seek the opinion of a qualified healthcare professional before determining if cleansing is right for you. We're answering questions on the show today. And so if you have a question that you're interested in having us answer, either on the show or in person, either one, you can write to support@livingwaterscleanse.com. That's Living Waters, waters with an S, cleanse.com. We'll be happy to get back to you and also would answer it on the show as well. So One of the questions that came up this week was a very common question when people first come in is, how many sessions do I need to do? Now we have packages here, which we give you a little discount the more sessions you do, but at the end of the day, really the answer to this question is very simple. I don't know. I don't know how well you want to be. We do know this. In general, we do a 10-day healing retreat for one reason. It takes at least 10 days to thoroughly get all the way around the colon and clean out the body. Now, is the body totally cleaned out after a 10-day healing retreat? No. We do a liver cleanse on the retreat. Is the liver going to be totally cleaned after one liver cleanse? No. I have probably done somewhere in the neighborhood north of over 500. I think I'm about 535 colonics now. Do you need to do that many colonics? Again, the answer is, how many do you need to know? I can't tell you. I'm going to share with you some stories. First of all, most people come in with a question, I just want to try it. I want to see what I feel like after one. Well, I'm going to tell you, one colonic is not really going to give you a good awareness of what to expect. I mean, you'll at least know the surroundings, you'll know what's happening. But I've had people come in on the first colonic and go and not get much out. I've had other people come in and get a ton out. I've had people get nothing out because they're hanging on, they're nervous, which is totally expected first time you do a colonic. So I always encourage people, if you're going to put your toe in the water, just try it out. Try at least 3, ideally try at least 5. Because each time you come in, your body is getting more in tune with what you're doing, and it's going to start releasing more and more. And the next question is usually, well, do I do them, back to back? Do I do them one a week? I recommend you do them back to back if you can, because the more you hydrate, the more you're going to release, and it just builds on itself. So ideally, most of our customers will do 3 to 5 in a row. Now, if they're coming in for the 10-day healing retreat, that's 10 days in a row. And sometimes I've had people stay as long as 21 days. Wow, you might say, that's a long time. Well, depends upon the severity of the amount of inflammation and toxicity in the body. And again, it also goes back to how aware and how willing you're ready to release. And it may seem easy to say, I just want to get it all out and be done, but your body, your autonomic nervous system, who has been writing the programs that you've been sending it emotionally all these years, has another idea. So as we are going through this process, as you're becoming aware of letting go internally, then your body will respond. That's not a great answer, but I'm going to share with you a couple of stories. I've had a couple of clients that came in and they were really worried. They were severely constipated. And this is very unusual. Again, it's on the very far end of the unusual spectrum, but they went 5 days without nothing coming in. And I was kind of like, wow, that is bad. I mean, they had so dehydrated themselves and were so constipated that it was literally like concrete in their system. Now, fortunately, they found us. Had they not found us, the result probably could have ended up having their colon out because they were that impacted. I had another guy that came in, again, far end of the spectrum. He beat all records. It had been 2 months. I don't know how he was even still alive, but normally people like that, they're probably going to see a surgeon. He'd been down there and he had had an x-ray at the hospital, and he'd remembered coming to us many, many, many years ago. And so he came back in, and it took 11 days to break it apart. I mean, it was literally locked in there like cement. He said it was like birthing a baby. Now, most of you, the 99% are going to come in, you're going to have a release. So I always tell people the far end of the spectrum, because, it may happen, and I want you to be aware, but just having awareness is good. But generally people come in and they get off the first time, they go, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I feel lighter and refreshed is the common phrase that people tell us when they come in and do their very first colonic. Okay, so back to cleansing the body. Dr. Bernard Jensen in his day was an amazing healer, an amazing nutritionalist, chiropractor. He had a ranch in California, and he treated over 350,000 people in his day. 350,000, that's a lot. He had 160 people a day on his ranch. They grew all their own organic food. They had a huge staff. I mean, it was pretty big. I interviewed Dr. Ellen Tart Jensen, and you can find that on our podcast, which is also archived on our website. So if you want to find a quick link to that, go over there and listen to that. She shares some stories about healing that are just amazing miracles, including the miracle that she had in healing her body and the miracle that Bernard Jensen experienced not once, but twice in his life. He healed himself first from tuberculosis at the age of, I believe, about 29, and then later went on, years later, and had an amazing healing of prostate cancer. And he was given, I think, I don't know, not very long to live, but then he also got hit by a car and was paralyzed from the waist down. So he had those two things going on, and he's 88 years of age. And he eventually got down to 88 pounds, and the doctor said, well, it's going to be a lucky person to come back from this. So he got away. He went to North Idaho, hired himself his buddy, a doctor friend of his, to come over and coach him through his own process. So hint number one, you need a coach. Everyone needs a coach, especially when we're sick. He spent quite a bit of time up there. I don't know how many months he was there, but he did a lot of cleansing, a lot of colonics, a lot of bone broth, a lot of nutrition, a lot of supplements. And not only did he live, but he walked again. And he went back on the road teaching. And I have since met clients of his who have went to his courses and have been here in Living Waters and have met the man himself. So amazing story here at 88 years of age, and he completely turned that all around. And that's just going to say the body has an amazing ability to heal from anything. And I've seen those miracles, guys, over the last 12 years, including my own miracle. I'm still here on earth, healing from numerous illnesses and diseases, including cancer, without doctors, chemo, or radiation. So if you get the body clean, you have that ability. And that's what's important. Because the nutrition has to be absorbed in the body. And when you have a toxic body, and everyone that's listening to you, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you eat organic, if you juice a lot, if you eat only, vegetables and fruits. We have stress. And that stress, when you put stress in your body, that colon and small intestine can get twisted and kinked, and you can literally hang on to a lot of old debris. The average person packs 12 to 15 pounds. Now, we've done a webinar. And if you haven't watched it, you want to watch it. Go to livingwaterscleanse.com. At the top of the page, it says 4 natural laws of healing. Watch that video. In the video, I give some great graphic pictures on what happens to the colon because of stress. The colon can go from anywhere from 3 inches in diameter to as big as 16 inches in diameter. That's a lot of old poop. I got a picture here in the clinic. When you come down, you'll see on the wall, here's a guy, he had his full length of his colon was probably that full 16 inches. And of course, he had it removed. It was too late to do anything about it. Hopefully you're not like that. But if you're not going regularly, you need to establish using colon hydrotherapy. We've been answering questions that you've been sending to us about colon hydrotherapy and detoxifying the body. So one client asked, I have just done a 24-day fast, and would I need to do colonics? Well, let me tell you, I just had a client that did a 40-day fast, and he decided to do our 10-day cleanse. He had stuff coming out every single day of that 10-day cleanse, and not a little bit, a lot. So what's happened? Why he quit eating? He just went on a water fast. Well, there was nothing, his peristalsis was not very great, obviously, but just the average person packs is 12 to 15 pounds of just old matter in the body. And when he started hydrating from the bottom in, meaning with colon hydrotherapy, things started to come out. A lot of stuff came out. And oh my gosh, what a difference. So the beauty of doing a water fast, a juice fast, those kinds of things, is you're giving your body a break. And if you're doing a juice fast, of course, you're getting a lot of micronutrients into the body. But you want to have that small intestine and colon open enough to cleaned out enough to receive the nutrition into the blood. Last week's program, we had Amy Rawls on who talked about enzyme therapy, and we talked about that last highway of getting nutrition to the cells. We've got to get the villi in the gut healed, and we've got to make sure that those junctures are tight, and we got to make sure that what's getting absorbed is only vitamins and minerals. And then we got to clean the blood. And how we clean the blood is a process what we institute on the 10-day healing retreat, which if you want to learn about that, again, go to healingtheincurables.com. Watch that webinar. Or, as I mentioned earlier, go to livingwaterscleanse.com. At the top of the page is the webinar, 4 Natural Laws of Healing. You want to learn about those 4 natural laws. Cleaning up the bloodstream is really, really important to get that nutrition there. Especially this time when people are so concerned about viruses and bacterias and excuse me. Your ability to stay away from the grip of illness and disease is proportional to how well your immune system functions. Where is 85% of our immune system? It's in our gut. 5 pounds of microbiome, half of which is viruses. So this notion of getting a virus to stop every single, or getting a vaccine to stop every single virus that comes along is insanity. Well, first of all, the current, quote, vaccine that they're trying to perpetuate on the public is not a vaccine, has not been approved by the FDA. As they state, it's an operating system. How are they getting the body? With a lot of other toxic matter. Mercury's one. Aborted fetal cell tissue. I can't tell you how much that's going to hurt your immune system just taking it, even without the operating system, just the other stuff that carries they have in it. So no, that's not a good way to go. So we want to get the body's immune system to be able to operate. What are some of those things? Well, I've talked about that a little bit during COVID, if you've paid any attention at all. And one of those is the NK and T cells. And there are herbs that will do that. There's heat therapy will do that. But we also know that if we have the balance in our gut of the microbiome and great balance, good bugs, bad bugs in balance, you have the ability to fight off disease. That's the way you were made. That's the reason why we survived all these years. There's always going to be new variants. That's called evolution. It's just the way it is. Understand it rather than be harmed by not knowing what's happening beneath. So taking care of this gut is really, really important. So we answered how many should you have. Most of the people come in, like I say, if you want to get totally well, you're going to do at least 10 to 12 colonics. If you want to really, you want to really get through the body, you'll do our 10-day healing retreat. Highest return on investment, lowest amount of time you'll spend. But if you can't do that right now, then just come in. Like if you're constipated, and so I tell the constipated people, the people who are constipated, I say, look, get on the backside of 5 to 10 as quickly as you can. And then probably what you're going to need to do is come in maybe once or twice a week for a bit. And then maybe after a while, maybe you're once a week, then once a month, once every 2 months, and so forth, as your body starts getting that muscle back into proper shape and back into functioning properly by doing peristalsis. Peristalsis is a squeezing of the muscle to move the fecal matter out. So I can't tell you how many it's going to take for you, but I can tell you the more you do, the better you'll feel. The brain fog goes away, the achy joints go away, the sore muscles go away, the ability to sleep increases. I've seen people's eyesight improve. Which brings us to another question. And I've got a whole bunch of these, but they're basically, David, can colon hydrotherapy help with XXX? Well, the answer is yes. Again, Dr. Bernard Jensen said, if you want to have any effectual healing take place, you've got to understand and manage the bowels first. If you have healthy bowels, it's really hard to have any dis-ease in the body. If you have healthy bowel function, if your microbiome is functioning, the bowels are functioning properly, you're in good balance, it's really hard for you to get sick. Really tough. I know. I used to be really sick. I've done a lot of colonics. So that's what I usually encourage people to do. Now, the next question says, will I be able to go to work later? Yes. You will not need to worry about going to the bathroom. When you get done and off our beds, you're cleaned out, you're good to go. You can go run a marathon if you want to. You're not going to have an accident. You don't need to take off time from work. I've had people come in here in the morning, go to work right afterwards, or vice versa. So that is, no problem in going to work or going, whatever you're going to do. Go out on a date, go out to dinner, blah, blah, blah. Here's a great question. This comes up from time to time, and this question comes in, my husband has very foul breath and body odor. And he's had this for quite some time. It's getting so bad, I can't stand being around him. What should you recommend? Well, he needs colonic therapy. One of the biggest things that I remember the first time I did a 10-day process, not just the 1 or 2 colonics, I did a lot of 1 and 2 day colonics prior. But when I did the 10-day process, 2 things that I noticed. I went back on the basketball court and I started playing basketball without stretching out and warming up. I was like, wow, I felt like I was 19. The other thing I noticed is I didn't have the body odor after sweating for that hour and a half that we played basketball. I went, holy moly, that's different. So yeah, bad breath. Think about it. You have bad breath, bad foul odor. Your stools are really smelly. If you are eating correctly, or the best as you can, and you have got a good functioning system, you've cleaned out all that old putrefying, rotting, moldy matter that's in your gut, your parts of your body are going to change quickly and easily. The smell is going to go away and dissipate tremendously. We had a friend not too long ago that really bad breath. And you could tell by the skin, the complexion, very toxic. And sure enough, things started changing just, after the first colonic. You can see a change in the skin color and got down about, I think, somewhere, did the 10-day cleanse. Everything was different. And the biggest thing that she remarked was, my joints don't hurt and and the bad breath was gone. It was pleasant to be around this person again. So, hey, if you want to learn more about what we do here at Living Waters and how you can heal your body naturally and how you can get back to living well, then definitely, give us a call, 208-378-9911, 208-378-9911. Or go to the website, livingwaterscleanse.com. There's some frequently asked questions on there as well. There's a little video on how a colonic's done. But definitely watch the 4 natural laws of healing. It's a requirement before you come in so you understand what's going on. Hey, hope you enjoyed the show today. I had fun. I hope you had fun. Keep sending us your questions to support@livingwaterscleanse.com. I'm David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center, where miracles begin by healing from within. Hi, welcome to the Whole Body Detox Show. I'm your host, David DeHaas, where each week we bring you information on how to heal the body naturally. We're located in Boise, Idaho, where we do a 10-day healing retreat and are best known for helping people get their health miracle. If you want to know more about that, go to healingtheincurables.com. That's healingtheincurables.com. Or you can reach out to us on the telephone, 208-378-9911. Enjoy today's show.